Hello, everybody. Welcome along, not to the Premier League predictions with Mikey this week. We're going to do the FA Cup. Mikey, the greatest and oldest cup competition in the world, the magic of the cup. We've picked out 10 games. We hope you agree with our picks. If you don't, there's precious little we can do about that right now. But first of all, scores on the doors last week. Did I or did I not make a dramatic late comeback here?
Yeah, I was crowing to you over WhatsApp yesterday afternoon, Ben, saying that I'd got all four outcomes correct, with just the Brighton Wolves game to play, and then lo and behold, Brighton held by Wolves to a 0-0 draw, and you went for a 2-2 draw or something like that. So you've ended up, a late equaliser, like Jeremy Sarmiento for Ipswich up at Leicester yesterday. It's only
Yeah,
taken me a few seconds to get an Ipswich reference in.
And if Mikey and I both look a bit knackered today, yeah, we were both coming down the M1 very late last night. Do I deserve any kind of win? Is saying Ivan Toney's going to score a hat trick the same as him moving a bit of spray across and gimmicking his free kick? Do I? No.
No, I think we'll leave that one behind, Ben.
Okay. Right. Let's get right into the FA Cup, and this is great. Just quickly, it is only one bonus point per show, isn't it? But pretty much anything that's an upset, and I define an upset as a side in a division lower than the team they're playing. I don't care if they're right close, one's at the top and one's at the bottom of the next one. That's my definition of an upset. So
Okay.
any of those can be a bonus point, but we can only pull out one, yeah?
Okay.
Cool. Right, let's get straight in then with a potential upset. It's West Brom versus Wolves, Mikey. I can give you you know yourself, but West Brom, good, stoic, good defensive side. They could win this 1-0 if they play their first team.
Absolutely, they can, Ben. And I'm amazed that you haven't gone for the Don Goodman derby straight off the bat.
Steve Bull.
Yeah, it's always nice, isn't it, when an FA Cup draw brings up a derby like this, where two teams haven't played each other for a couple of years. Like the Sunderland Newcastle one in the previous round. That was the pick of that round, wasn't it? And yeah, for West Brom and Wolves fans, there's no bigger fixture than this one. Like you say, West Brom, very, very strong championship team, but they have lost two of their last three. They've lost a little bit of momentum in the league. They brushed aside Aldershot in the third round, didn't they? They do rotate a little bit, and I think that they at least they did against Aldershot. I don't know if they will against Wolves because I think the
You can't
fans
in
will
a derby,
demand
can
that
you?
you can't. Yeah, because it's not like any other cup defeat, is it? If you lose in the derby, it's a big thing. Especially as I'll come to, they've got quite an impressive record to defend against Wolves. Wolves are safe. They're the Premier League team, so to me that shouts they should really be going for this, shouldn't they? This is a great chance of getting to Wembley, at least in the semi-finals, with the squad that they've got and the manager they've got as well. They're having a really good season. But West Brom will be bang up for it, and they'll be keen to show that there isn't a gulf between the two. So this record for West Brom at home to Wolves, Ben, is quite something. So Wolves have only won one of their last 10 against West Brom, and that's at any ground. And 1996 is the last time that Wolves went to Hawthorns and won. So to put that into perspective, Mark Venus was playing centre back for Wolves, and Ewan Roberts scored twice, and Steve Bull, as you'd already mentioned, he scored as well for Wolves. So it was a long, long time ago. And I always think, as an Ipswich fan, these patterns just seem to go on and on and on, don't they? So that is why I'm going to go for the West Brom win. Probably, I'm expecting you to do the same, actually, Ben, with your championship hat on. I'm going for a West Brom 2-1 win over Wolves.
Ah, good. So you've left me with the clean sheet victory then, haven't you? So yeah, I totally agree with your sentiment that and I assume they've sold a load of tickets for this and their fans are going to be bang up for it. I know West Brom have had Premier League years recently, haven't they? But, they've been down So 3 seasons now. Parachute payments have run out. Money troubles. This is a big game for West Brom, isn't it? And I suspect the last game this big was against another local rival in that playoff semi-final. They lost to Aston Villa on penalties. So they're really going to want to win this. You've left that open door for the Carlos Corberon 1-0. So I'm going to take that. Do you want to play for we can both go for the bonus point there. Being as I've doubled your scoreline, it wouldn't be good gameplay for me to want my bonus point here, because then we could potentially both be wrong. So I'm going to leave mine if you want to leave yours.
Yeah, I might wait until the end, Ben, and then pick out my bonus point if that's all right.
Sounds like a plan. Mikey has just been telling me he's been watching The Traitors, so he's all high on game theory today. And, well, game theory goes out the window when you're doing predictions. Ipswich Town versus Maidstone. Can I go first on this one, Mikey?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so I think, and I'm really looking forward, we're speaking to Maidstone have a podcaster or a YouTuber, which is brilliant. We were speaking to them on the Blue Monday show. By the way, you can see Mikey on the Blue Monday show tonight, which is yesterday as you're watching this. So you can watch that after the fact, and I'll be on there speaking about this game, which I'm looking forward to. So full love, full respect for Maidstone. I hope they bring loads of fans. They have a brilliant day. I hope they make loads of money out of it. But I think it's comfortable Ipswich 1B team win, and I think Ipswich are going to win 2-0, Mikey.
Yeah, so Maidstone, I think they've pretty much got the entire cobbled stand, Ben. So that's
superb.
Like between 5,000 and 6,000. It's fantastic, isn't it? And I guess they'll split the overall funds that come in for the game as well, and should be in attendance of over 20,000. Really special for them. They're in the playoff places down in National League South. They're managed by George Elokobi, who used to play for Wolves. I think it's not going to be an easy game for them, especially as Ipswich have generally been putting out hybrid teams in these cup games. So we can expect to see Sam Morsey, who's our standout player. We've got Christian Walton in goal, and we've got a whole host of young number 10s who are desperate to get on the pitch as well. And I don't want this to look arrogant in any way, but I can see a 4-0 home victory in this one.
But the best thing about this is if we get the cup upset and Maidstone get the win, or take it to we can get replays still. It's round 5 where they're out, aren't they? We will both come on here and we will give Maidstone the standing ovation that they absolutely damn well deserve. And yeah, superb job getting into round 4. Although they had the cameras there. They did look a bit disappointed when they didn't get a Premier League team, which I understand. Yeah. But yeah, other than Leeds, Sunderland, Leicester, they won't get many sort of bigger championship stadiums, Sheffield Wednesday, I guess, to go to. This is the proper David Goliath one, isn't it? Newport versus Manchester United. Manchester United, we mock a lot on here, but surely they're not losing to Newport, Mikey, for God's sake. That's like sacking material for Eric Ten Hag, isn't it?
Yeah, quite possibly. This is, I mean, I think Maidstone's game at Ipswich is almost undoubtedly the biggest game in their history. This has got to be one of the biggest games in Newport County's history as well. Facing Manchester United at home, what a fantastic draw for them. They're in decent form as well, Ben. They haven't lost since just before Christmas. They beat Wrexham in a Welsh derby at the weekend. That was a really big result for them. So they go in with a little bit of momentum and confidence, and it will be again a cracking atmosphere. And it won't be an easy place for Manchester United to go. Here we're rolling out all of the cliches, aren't we? David versus Goliath. It's going to be an awful.
Can you say
pitch,
banana
probably.
Skin, please?
Potential banana skin for Manchester United. However, United, this is their last hope of silverware this season. And they managed to get silverware last season. They went really strong against Wigan. They basically put their best team out. We could see Højlund and Rashford up front. We might see the likes of ex-Real Madrid midfielder Casemiro, World Cup winner Lisandro Martinez back in the back four. They should have too much, but I think that they will struggle on the Rodney Parade pitch, Ben. And just for fun, I'm going to say that it's going to be a 1-1 draw, and they're going to have to. And Newport will then be able to take 10,000 fans up to Old Trafford.
You can definitely have a bonus point for that if you want one later on. I'm going to be really, really boring. Well, let's give Newport some. They'll have a goal disallowed at 0-0. There you go. And then they will go on and lose the game 3-0. And it'll be a little bit scary for a while. And then Manchester United will. I totally agree with you. He just cannot mess around with this in the slightest. So I expect a fair few internationals to be in the starting 11. Get it done. Make the subs afterwards, and off you go. Bournemouth versus Swansea City. Did you happen to see Swansea get completely dismembered by Southampton last weekend? I'm a bit worried for them here in this one, to be honest.
Yeah, they got absolutely swept aside, didn't they? And Bournemouth play a similar-ish style of football to Southampton.
Do you know who they've got next midweek, Mikey? Sorry. Leicester away.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, difficult 3 games for Swansea. Bless them. They look like they should be safe this season in the Championship, but yeah, probably not too high on confidence at the moment. Bournemouth, on the other hand, should prioritise this competition because I'm pretty sure that they're safe in the Premier League. They did get beaten 4-0 themselves at the weekend against Liverpool. So that might have dented their confidence a little bit. I had a little look at the team that played against QPR. They came from 2-0 down at QPR to win 3-2. So they're clearly bang up for this FA Cup this season, because that would have, 2-0 down at half time. They could have just easily have just played that out and just pulled one back and just exited the cup if that was their prerogative. It obviously isn't. They fancy their chances this year in the FA Cup. And it was a strong team that they put out at QPR as well. So I imagine they'll probably do the same against Swansea. Swansea's so hit and miss, aren't they? Like you say, swept aside by Southampton. I'm expecting the same scoreline here. This is away at AFC Bournemouth. I'm going for a 3-1 Bournemouth win.
Yeah, I'm in pretty much agreement with you. I think it's not a bad shout for the scoreline either. So I can either remove one Swansea goal or one from both and keep the 2-goal margin. Let's go for the 2-goal margin. I will go for Bournemouth to beat Swansea 2-0 then. So same margin of victory as you've gone for, but yeah, clean sheet into the bargain.
No
Bristol City versus Nottingham Forest. Now, Bristol City, somewhat heroically on the TV, waving their EFL flag, beat West Ham United, who are 6th in the Premier League. They're at home again, but Nottingham Forest have a gigantic squad and a manager who's quite stiff. What's that? David Moyes. Yeah, okay. Well, what's your take anyway?
Yeah, Nottingham Forest do have a big squad, Ben, but they've got a lot of players at the Africa Cup of Nations. I think Willy Bolly's Ivory Coast got knocked out. He might be on his way back, but yeah, they're missing quite a few players, and they were sort of down to the bare bones. Or they needed both of these teams needed replays, and Forest needed extra time to get past Blackpool in the previous round. I just think they're so in that relegation scrap at the moment as it stands that I don't think they can afford to really prioritise the FA Cup. And whereas Bristol City, after what their heroics against West Ham, they clearly desperately wanted to get through in this competition, and they're another team that haven't got huge amounts to play for in the league. They're a dangerous side, home advantage and all of that. I think that they're going to cause problems. Forest have got Danilo back. He's re-emerged in the last couple of weeks, scored a couple of really nice goals. I think Premier League survival, like I say, is the most important thing for Nottingham Forest this season. And I don't think Nuno Espirito Santo will look past that. So I could see a real upset here. I am going for a 1-0 Bristol City win.
Wow. Did not expect you to go that way. Although everything you said was very logical. Always is, to be fair. I'll go the other way around then. I'll get out my Traitors Game Theory book then and do the opposite of what you've said. And let's assume that Nuno's going to want to get some the season of peace and goodwill. Well, that's Christmas, which wasn't long ago, but be helpful Well, the FFP stuff's all buzzing around and you're in a relegation scrap and, like you say, light on numbers. So let's go for Nuno to go for it. And I'll flip your result all the way around and we'll go for a 1-0 win. Guys, if you have been following up above Mikey's left eye, the match bingo promo, which I know a lot of you have, we have a new QR code, which looks a little something like that, which will take you straight into the match bingo app. Few promos coming up, Mikey. I've got to get my days right here. So we are putting this out on a Wednesday, so you will have this in time. A bonus £775 prize pot for Leeds versus Norwich, which is already on the app. If I go like that and get me lighting sorted, I am literally going to buy my card in front of your face, confirm purchase. There we go, view cards. And I am all in for Leeds versus Norwich on Wednesday night. Now, there was due to be a free card, Mikey, in Ipswich versus Rotherham, which has been postponed because Ipswich got through in the FA Cup. So the next biggest thing I can talk to you about, how about this? Liverpool-Chelsea, Wednesday the 31st, £1,000 prize pot. Have it. One of our subscribers won that back in December during the Norwich game. So, look, we had a load of people playing for free, Mikey, in the Hull-Sunderland watch-along. So, people are enjoying it. There's a couple of free cards coming up, but you ain't going to get a free card for those big prize pots. So, do get involved. Click on the QR code. If you pause right now, your phone will take a picture of that automatically and get involved with our friends at Match Bingo. And for God's sake, Mikey, please play responsibly. How responsible are Blackburn going to be against Wrexham? That stinks of an upset. Come on.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Not the Hollywood draw that Wrexham would have wanted.
Maybe Coventry last season.
Yeah, they had a really good run, and they pushed Sheffield United really hard, didn't they?
I
think they went to 2 legs against Sheffield United, and Billy Sharp
it got all spiky, didn't it?
He did, yeah.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of neutrals quite like Wrexham, don't they? Because they enjoyed the Disney documentary. They like what's going on over there, and I think quite a few people fancy Wrexham to go to probably what will be a sparsely populated Ewood Park and get
apart from that Darwin end.
Apart from that away end, which will probably be packed out with the Wrexham fans crossing the border. But Wrexham are going for the title in League Two, Ben. Blackburn, and they've had a couple of iffy results. The aforementioned defeat against Newport County. They've lost a couple away from home. They lost at Walsall as well recently. So I think with that in mind, I think they might be. And they're not going to go there and take it easy against Blackburn, but that's going to be in the back of their mind that, do we really need this? Do we really need a replay, or do we really need this next round of the Cup? But then they're going to be cheered on by those away fans that are going to be desperate for another Cup run like last year. So it's going to be a difficult one to call. Blackburn haven't won in the league in over a month, but they did a really professional job on Cambridge in the last round. Sammy Smodic scored a hat-trick. The fact that he played shows that Blackburn are obviously just going to put their best team out as they try and do every game. I'm going to go for a Blackburn win in this one because I think you're going to go the other way. I'm going to go for Blackburn to win 2-1.
Why do you think I'm going to go the other way, Mike? Is it because I am a walking cliche? Is that right? You would be absolutely correct that I am a walking cliche. And I will, of course, be predicting a Wrexham win in this one. Just sometimes, like you made a really key point that, and we love Blackburn, great club, but it is quite sparsely populated sometimes. And when you happened to us, Ipswich, when we played Lincoln, didn't it? And they took over the stadium, and that made such a difference in that home game. You know, the big support, which I'm sure Wrexham are going to take. I'm sure that Ryan Reynolds' Disney cameras are going to be there. So I've got to go for the upset here. And I want my bonus point for this one, Mikey. So I'm going to go. Let's do something really silly. Blackburn 2, Wrexham 3. Okay, we'll go for a bit of a helter-skelter game. And I've just thought of the guy The Mike Newell derby. There we go. Everton versus Luton.
You've met him, haven't you, Ben? Mike Newell?
Mike Newell? I don't think I have.
Oh,
No. Are you thinking of Mick
thinking of
Harford?
I'm thinking of Mick Harford.
Oh, I have met Mick Harford, and I'm honoured to meet Mick. Go anywhere around Luton, and this is proper, like, royalty level god status. Yeah, great.
Brilliant. Yeah. I mean, Everton v Luton, these are two teams that aren't separated by much at the moment in the Premier League, are they? Luton won this fixture away at Goodison early on in the season.
Remember, yeah.
Everton haven't lost a huge amount of games this season, but yeah, Luton won there and did a job on Everton. Everton did waste a lot of chances. They did create quite a lot that day, but they just couldn't take their chances. Their fans are going to be desperate for a cup run. They needed 2 legs to get past Crystal Palace, but they did it. They did it the hard way, where they got the draw away from home and then they brought them back to Goodison Park and won relatively easily there. Luton could probably do without the cup run. Would you agree, Ben? I know that sometimes it can winning's a good habit and all of that, and it will breed confidence if they can beat a rival down the bottom in the FA Cup. But then the fixtures mount up and potential injuries and things like that. They haven't got a huge amount of depth there at Luton. So I'm going to be a little bit boring here and go for a 1-0 Everton win.
No, I feel you, Mikey. And we always say the worst draw you can get, unless you're a top side, is someone in your same division away from home, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it feels like it does. If I'm Dyche or if I'm Edwards, I'm probably more likely, if I'm Edwards, to be going, oh, do you know, maybe we scratch this one. And look, Everton need the money, for goodness sake. They do as much gate receipts as much positive FFP numbers coming in as possible, can't they? So I am going to agree with you for once in my life, Mikey. I'm going to stop being a contrarian. So I'll go 2-1 then. I'll go same margin of victory, but a couple more goals. And it's Liverpool versus Norwich. Norwich have a very bad record against Liverpool.
Yeah, and for me, this fixture just evokes memories of Luis Suarez and arguably the greatest hat trick of all time. He had an incredible record against Norwich, and there was even talk of building a Luis Suarez statue outside of Portman Road at one point. Ben, such was.
Can I just say, we can't be smug because the equivalent player for Ipswich is David Nugent, and I'd rather it was Luis Suarez.
Yeah. Yeah, fair play. You brought me back down to earth with a bump there a little bit, Ben. But yeah, Norwich got the glamour tie, but probably don't really want it. They've played Liverpool fairly recently, haven't they? And they're pushing for the playoffs now in the Championship. Norwich, they've had two really good wins on the spin. Last time against West Brom, quite an impressive victory. But Liverpool, no home defeats all season. Top of the Premier League, won 4-0 at Bournemouth. But this game is in between their cup semi-final, the Carabao Cup, and Chelsea at home next week, the one that you've mentioned for the match bingo. So I can see Liverpool heavily rotating for this game against Norwich, which is why I think it's only going to be a 5-1 Liverpool win.
You totally reeled me in with that one. Absolutely. I went for that completely hook, line, or sinker. That's tremendous. Is that going to be your bonus point then?
Well, no, because the bonus point needs to be a lower league team.
You want an upset.
Yeah.
Well, we have Norwich friends and we have Norwich Patreons and members here, and I'm feeling very badly for them now after your flagrant, recalcitrant show of disrespect there, Mikey.
You
brought
Norwich up David Nugent, Ben.
Fair. I do still think Liverpool are going to win, but let's go. I mean, even if Johnny Rowe gets near the pitch there, he'll absolutely love it and he'll probably score, won't he? That is his stage perfectly, isn't it? So I'll go 2-1. We'll assume Johnny Rowe's going to score from 30 yards and put another 5 million quid on his already astronomical value. But
somebody should sign him.
It would be a very sensible thing to do, wouldn't it? A very good January deal, I think. We just brilliant player. I will go 2-1 Liverpool. And how about this? This feels like a Sunday, 4:30, get it broadcast all around the world, Sky TV Premier League game. Spurs versus Manchester City.
Yeah, and I never get as excited for the big Premier League ties in the FA Cup. I always think it's kind of a waste, isn't it? There's two teams that so many clubs in the FA Cup would love to play, and they're playing against each other. But Spurs at home to Man City is a really nice fixture, and in recent years, Spurs have come out on top. Basically, since they moved out into the Tottenham Stadium, they've beaten them every time. So yeah, City's still to win there, which is incredible. That's a run that now stretches back to 5 games. It's included the Champions League and the Premier League, and Spurs fans will hope it includes the FA Cup after this game. They've obviously got no Son though, and that huge injury and unavailability list. I don't think James Maddison is going to be back yet. And Haaland could be. I know I say this every week, Ben, but there's every chance that he might get minutes in this one. But I'm going to go for Desmond on this one. I think it will be a really, really open game. I think City are going to break the hoodoo of not losing, but I could see Spurs getting a couple of goals here on the break. And yeah, forcing a replay that neither team will want at all.
The problem I've got here is I was going to back Spurs, but if I do that, both of us have gone against Pep, which is ridiculous, isn't it? So someone had better go for Man City so we don't look like we really totally don't know what we're talking about. So I will go for an away win, and I will go Spurs 0, Man City 2. I'm sure they'll pull somebody out who hasn't played, or some 14-year-old or something will make his debut and be absolutely brilliant. And they'll get the win. So Spurs 0, Man City 2. Finally, Chelsea versus Aston Villa. In form Aston Villa, who, well, dropped off, hasn't it? But we've had a lot of fun with on the predictions already.
Yeah, so obviously, caveat here, we don't know what's happened in the Chelsea game against Middlesbrough. That's a huge game for them in the Carabao Cup. And what happens there might dictate the type of team that Pochettino puts out against Aston Villa. But Chelsea overall, they've had a really poor season, and much of it has just been down to really poor finishing and a bit of inexperience, lack of leaders perhaps in the team there. Villa have won on their last 2 visits to Stamford Bridge without conceding. So much for them just being a home team. They are more than capable of going away from Villa Park and getting decent results, as somebody did point out to me in the YouTube comments a couple of weeks ago. But I will stand by the point that they are more dangerous to these big teams at home at Villa Park. I just feel like Villa have bigger fish to fry than the FA Cup this season, with what's going on in the league, the push for the top 4, and the fact that they're still in Europe as well. I like Villa a lot, but I feel like Chelsea, without playing particularly well, are starting to find their feet. This might sound absolutely ridiculous if they get knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Middlesbrough, but I could see them sneaking a narrow 2-1 win over Aston Villa, which would be a really good result for them in the context of their season.
So what I'll do, if you think Aston Villa are more powerful at home, let's make this a 2-legged FA Cup tie, and I'll go for it to be drawn, and they can take them back to Villa Park. So I will go. I don't think I've had a boring 1-1 yet, have I? I think I've been good with that. So, despite the fact, Mikey, in the Championship, there were 3 1-1s this weekend. So I should have just gone 1-1 all the way down the blooming card. I will go Chelsea 1, Villa 1. Before we finish, I need to know what your bonus point is for.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Bristol City, Ben.
So Bristol City, you had them to win 1-0. That'd be your bonus point. Mine is going to be Wrexham's incredible Hollywood Disney 3-2 win at Ewood Park in Blackburn. What we'll say this week, Mikey, as well, I think, is if you want to play along in the comments, pick any 10 FA Cup fixtures. You don't have to pick the 10 that we've picked, but if it's 10, that's kind of helpful. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you want to see the previous, can you point? No, I need to do it with that hand. Point down to the middle there, Mikey, with your left arm. That's your right arm. Towards me. There you go. He's done. We'll get it. It's going to be in the middle there somewhere. That's last week's predictions, and we'll get back to the Premier League stuff next week.